Welcome to the hottest grappling show in Arizona. The Valley is home to an amazing grappling community. Join us as we roll through the top jiu-jitsu schools in the state. Our goal? To highlight incredible instructors, their academies, and their amazing journeys through life and jiu-jitsu. It's not the destination, it's the journey that counts. Welcome to Rollin Through the Valley.
Get on my side. Watch here. Look, big scoot, I push. Look, there's the space. My foot here and my shin is right underneath his armpit. Yes, sir? Yes, sir! Good, top left. Here, I step in, right, but he doesn't fall, right? So I have to use this to come up and force the single. Ready, go! Come on!
Here, rolling through the valley. Here we are at Refuge BJJ, and here is Mr. Josh Guerra. Josh, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Josh, I am loving this space. You have brand new gym, guys, located in Phoenix. We're in Phoenix,
yep.
Right? Okay.
Phoenix.
And guys, it's super spacious. The views and the training, these guys are legit. So, Josh, can we get to know you a little bit?
Yeah. So, yes, I'll start. I'm 27 years old. I'm a first-degree black belt. I'm the head instructor here at Refuge Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I represent Team Kimura.
Nice. How long have you been doing jiu-jitsu?
Gosh, I started jiu-jitsu when I was 10 years old.
10 years old.
10 years old. Yeah, and
I started when I was like 22, so that's awesome.
Yeah,
Good for
yeah.
You.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been doing it my whole life. I never played any other sports. Jiu-jitsu just kind of took over for me, and so this is what it's led me to.
And you started, you said GD, right? That's where you...
You know, actually, I started under, it was a small gym that was actually a karate school that had a jiu-jitsu program. I think it was like a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu program. I stayed there for a little bit, probably till I got my blue belt. So I was there from 10 to about 15 years old.
And this was where?
This was in North Phoenix
okay.
Still, yeah. And then when I left that gym, I had joined a gym that was actually now an affiliate of Jiu-Jitsu. So I was training at the affiliate gym, but also driving to train at the Jiu-Jitsu headquarters.
All right, so tell us a little bit about how you got into Jiu-Jitsu.
So I got into Jiu-Jitsu because I was being bullied in school. I was picked on a lot, believe it or not.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, kids can be pretty harsh, and I was picked on so much, and it got to the point where like I didn't want to go to school. I didn't have like any self-confidence. You know, it was just a pretty rough time for me, you know, for 9, 10 years old. And I had a family member that was watching a lot of like UFC, and I went over to his house one day. We were watching a UFC, and I just like was amazed at how these guys, you know, I had seen like, you know, boxing, kickboxing before, but to see these guys wrestle and use jiu-jitsu, and I forgot the match I saw, but like watching someone relatively small, like just controlling somebody, you know, with all these moves, you know, I didn't know what he was doing, but I was like, this is so cool. What is that? And I searched up a gym that day, and the next week I had my parents take me to the first jiu-jitsu school I could find, and it was history, you know?
And your parents were totally down with this, okay with you fighting?
Yeah. I mean, they were just happy that I had found something to do.
Right.
I tried playing other sports before, and like I never really had a lot of success with other sports, or I didn't really like have a lot of fun in other sports. And so jiu-jitsu was something that I went in, and again, like this was like early, gosh, I want to say like 2008, maybe 2009-ish, you know? And so like jiu-jitsu still wasn't as popular as it is today. And so the gym I was at, being, again, like a karate gym with a jiu-jitsu program, I was too big to be in the kids class, but I was still like really small to be in the adult class. And so even though I was training with, you know, a bunch of grown men, like for them, I was probably like, wow, there's like fresh meat coming in. And so they beat me up pretty good, but I loved it. Like I just probably got ragdolled the entire hour and a half of the class, but I was like, this was amazing. I loved it. I was drenched in sweat. And it was probably, you know, at that point, the hardest thing I'd ever done. And I was like, I got off the mat. I remember telling my parents, I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
I love that. Okay, so jiu-jitsu teaches a lot of life lessons. What does jiu-jitsu mean to you, and how does it relate to life?
Oh man, that's the big question, right? I would say, I think for me, you know, jiu-jitsu has been something that's kind of given me what I feel like for a long time, a big purpose, you know? It's taught me so much. It's taught me, you know, a lot of how to be, you know, a big thing is, I think, discipline, respect, loyalty, a lot of these things that I think we can carry with us into our daily lives. But I think a big thing is also, you know, jiu-jitsu, I think, brings, is about community, you know, about the people. And so I think what I really love is not just being able to, you know, be able to teach jiu-jitsu every day, train jiu-jitsu, you know, but like the relationships I'm able to make when I'm training, the people that I've met. You know, I wasn't the best public speaker, you know, before jiu-jitsu. And then when I have the opportunity to be around so many people, and I'm talking, I'm sharing my story, or I'm sharing my journey, you know, maybe there's a point in time where someone's struggling and they're like, you know, I'm struggling with my training, I'm struggling in my jiu-jitsu journey, you know, I can share my stories where I also struggled, and inspire them through that. And the same happens with life, you know. I think in life we all have struggles that I think maybe many people don't want to talk about. And so I think something that I've really tried to incorporate in the gym is make people feel like this is a literal refuge for them. And so
that's where the name comes from.
That's where it comes from, you know. We wanted to give the name Refuge. I'm a Christian, and I wanted the gym to kind of symbolize a little bit of my faith. And so, you know, it comes from the verse in the book of Psalms, the Lord is my refuge. Someone, you know, my stronghold, someone that I can find hope in. And I wanted that for people. I wanted people to come to this gym and feel at home, feel like it was, you know, a safe place for them, where they felt wanted, where they felt like they were a part of something, a community. And that goes way past the mats, you know. With many of my students, I'm able to just kind of share my experiences, you know, like I am still pretty young, you know, and so I think I have been, you know, I have been through a lot. And if I can share a part of my story or what I've been through to help somebody else, whether it be through jiu-jitsu or through life, you know, that's what I want to do, be able to help people and impact lives in a positive way.
That is so inspiring. You gave me goosebumps. Oh my God, I love that. How long have you been teaching?
I started teaching kids when I was a blue belt. So I was probably like 15 years old. I started helping teach kids. And then there came a point where the head instructor at the time, I was teaching at the affiliate gym. There came a point in time where the instructor could no longer make the classes work. And I remember the owner of the gym just kind of asked me, and he said, hey, you know, if we can't find someone to teach the class, we're probably going to have to cancel the kids program. It was a pretty small kids program, but I had really enjoyed teaching. And I had offered, I said, hey, like, if you allow me, I know I'm young, I was 15 years old, I'm a blue belt, but I'd love to teach a class. And, this was his gym, and he said, yeah, if you want to do it. So I started teaching like 2 days a week, and then little by little, the program grew. And then I was teaching 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, and it just kind of built from there.
Josh, you're just like,
I try to.
I spent one day with these guys, and Josh really is just so energetic, and he just pushes his people to just like be the best, and you could totally feel that here.
I think like my goal for jiu-jitsu every day, here at Refuge, I teach all my classes, and I love it. Like, sure, there might be days where I'm tired because I'm training every day too, but I think the big thing is I want people to see not just how much I love jiu-jitsu, because I do, and I feel so blessed that I get to do this every day, but like I'm so happy that I get to do this, and if people can see how happy I am teaching my jiu-jitsu, teaching jiu-jitsu to them, then they'll be happy too, because that's the energy I want to bring. If my energy's down, I believe the energy of the class will also go down. And so, sure, are there days where, I am tired, maybe a little exhausted, and I kind of have to force it a little bit? Of course, but I think that's my job as an instructor, and the commitment that I made when I decided to open the gym to try and inspire as many people as I can to want to love this sport the way that I do.
So Josh, I know you're an active competitor. I've seen your students out there too, crushing it. Like, your kids are #1 in the state of Arizona. So that goes to show you right there, like, you really put in the effort to build up these kids. But what are your thoughts on competition?
Obviously, I'm probably going to be a little biased because I am a competitor, and I've been competing since I started. I probably did my first competition with like 2 weeks of training. I think I'd been training, for 2 weeks, and it was like right before, I believe it was either the first or the second ever Arizona Kids Cup that Gustavo had put on, So I've kind of been fortunate to see the growth of the Arizona Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu League. From where it started, at Westwood High School to where we are now, So I especially even try and tell my students, like, you guys have it nice, it wasn't always like this. And we've worked hard to get there, But I think competition is important. I jumped in right away, and it taught me that, #1, I wasn't as good as I thought I was. I think I kind of thought like, wow, I've been training 2 weeks. I'm feeling good. I'm going to go in and I'm going to smash my division. And I remember I had one match, and I think the guy beat me like 30-something to 0, and like, it was just he just, mopped the floor with me. Like, I kept escaping submissions, but it was like, he would sweep me, he'd pass my guard, he'd take my back, I'd get out, and then he'd do it again. And I was disappointed. I was upset, but I got right back in the gym and I kept training. I was like, I want to keep training, and I want to make sure that this never happens again. Yeah. And so I thought it was like a good experience, because I know, like, depending on the environment that you're in or the people you have around you, like, if I had a coach who was like, or maybe my attitude, I'm sorry. Like, if my attitude was like, this was horrible, I never want to do it again, like, I never want to lose again. And I could have had a coach that was like, yeah, you're right, you shouldn't compete anymore. But my coach had continued to encourage me. And I don't know, I guess I've just always kind of been the person that's kind of like, if I'm not good at something, I want to learn how to improve. Right. And so nobody likes to lose. I don't like to lose, especially. But like, if I lose, it's like, okay, like, I'm upset, but what can I do better, and get back in the gym? And there's always more to do. There's always more to do, So I personally think that everybody should compete at least once. I try and encourage all my students to try and compete at least once, so they can see if they like it and see if it's for them. I don't think it's for everybody, but you don't know unless you try, right? And so go out there, and more than just the jiu-jitsu itself, I think it's just a great way to get out of your comfort zone, to learn to deal with the anxiety and the stress of preparing for a tournament, for making a commitment and setting goals of saying, maybe I'm somebody who, you know, just trains sporadically a couple times a week and saying, you know what, I'm going to prepare for this tournament. I'm going to dedicate myself to training 3 to 4 times a week. You know, I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to, you know, do extracurricular things outside, go to the gym or run or do extra cardio, something like that. It gets you out of your comfort zone. You're going to do stuff that maybe you're not comfortable with. And it teaches you to work through that. You know, I have a lot of students myself. Like I struggle with anxiety from competing, the preparation. And so something I've tried to tell my students is, you know, this is a great way that we can work through it together, you know. And the more you compete, the more you kind of learn the tools to work through it, you know. So, but you're not alone. And so it's something that we're able to do together. I'm able to help guide them through the help that I've gotten throughout the years as well, you know. So that's been it for me. Again, I think competition is important to growth, but I understand that, you know, it might not be for everybody. Right. But again, I personally think that if you are competing a lot, it helps you see maybe either what's working or what's not working, right, and what do I need to go back to the gym to improve on, you know?
That's awesome. And so you also have competition classes, right?
Correct. Yep.
How do you run your classes for, like, how do you prepare your students for competition?
So in the competition classes that we do, I try and let people know from the beginning, like, you know, it is going to be more intense than the normal class. And I think it should, because if I ran the normal classes like I did the comp class, you know, there wouldn't be, wouldn't be able to stick around. And I don't think our bodies are capable of training at that intensity every day either, right? But the competition class, what I like to do is try and get a warm-up where almost kind of like a flow roll, just kind of get loose, move around, get a setup of the positions you like to do. And then we normally do, I kind of try and change it up every week. But for the most part, I like to do a lot of speed drills, whether it be, you know, speed drills from the feet with takedowns, or speed drills with guard passing, or speed drills with attacks from the guard. And every week kind of changes so that it doesn't get bland, you know? Because my thing is, I want to make sure that jiu-jitsu stays fun. We can train hard, but if it's not fun, we're not, you know, why are people coming in? You know, like, you still want to enjoy what you're doing. And so I try and keep the intensity high, like 15 to 20-second rounds on the speed drills. We probably do maybe 20 to 30 minutes of speed drills, you know, with like a couple rests in between. And then we move on to like specific training. So starting from bad spots, you know, being mounted, having your back taken, side control, flat half, you know, working out of those bad positions. And then we normally end with either some 10-minute rounds or like King of the Hill style training. And so, and throughout that, I probably give, like, we give breaks, but I probably only give like 1 water break in between the whole class. And the key, again, is just high intensity and pushing through. Like,
same with the kids as the adults, or
the kids is still pretty similar. I don't do as many speed drills, probably a little bit less speed drills, and a lot more specific training and live rolling. Because some of the kids, you know, I think like they get in a habit, and not just kids, everybody in general. Sometimes we get in a habit in training of like, you're always getting in good spots. Well, that's great. What happens if in the tournament you get stuck in a bad spot? How is your defenses? Well, you know, like, we're about to find out. And so with the kids, yeah, not as many speed drills, but I'll do a lot more specific and live rolling and much longer rounds to get the kids adjusted, longer than they do in the tournament. Some kids, you know, I have some kids, you know, 4 years old that compete, and they're probably, you know, I'm trying to think, they're maybe 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes, you know, and, you know, in training, they're easily doing 5 to 6 minute rounds. Our competition class last week, I had the kids doing 7-minute rounds, you know.
It always amazes me how you can teach kids jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
How do they understand the concept of like a choke? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You have to really be a really good instructor in order for them to understand like the body, you know? And it really just amazes me, and it goes to show again that your kids are #1 and they're killing it out there in competitions.
Thank you.
So major props to you and what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
And so I wanted to ask too, I heard you have a competition coming up. You're competing
Next
upcoming?
week. Yeah,
Oh,
next
okay.
week I'm actually competing at the IBJJF LA Open.
Cool.
And then right after that, I'll be competing, I think it's 2 weeks after, be competing at the IBJJF Pan Ams in
Nice.
Florida.
So you practice what you preach too. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
You're going out there and competing, and your kids and your students look up to that. So that's awesome.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, so what advice would you give your younger self when you started training jiu-jitsu? Anything that could help somebody just starting out?
I would say one thing that I wish I could tell my younger self was to spend a lot more time, in drills, like a lot more drilling. I've always been someone who, I don't necessarily find drilling to be fun. You know, it can get kind of boring sometimes. And so I like to roll. I like to train hard. I like to just go, you know, but I didn't spend a lot of time drilling at the lower belts. And so I think as I progressed, it kind of like cost me a little bit when my technique wasn't kind of up to par with where I thought it should be at the higher levels.
I fully agree with that.
So,
as a brown belt, I wish I could go back and just drill.
Even just the basic stuff, right? It's like
100%.
it's just the good details on all the basics. And so, you know, if I could tell a big thing I tell my students now, even the white belts, is, you know, drills. The way you drill is the way you're gonna fight, the way you're gonna compete. If your drilling is sloppy, then when you start rolling, if you were drilling guard passes, your guard passing is sloppy because you drilled sloppy. Right. You know, if your takedowns are sloppy, it's because you were drilling your takedowns.
It's all pretty simple, right? It's just like a matter of putting in the work.
To me, a lot of it is just like the work you put in. You know, you'll get out what you put in, right? And the effort you put in. Something I tell my students a ton is never to compare yourself to anybody else, especially for like the beginners. I have people of all, you know, different sizes, different ages, you know, and different physical abilities. You know, I can't expect, you know, two people to come in at the same time to be at the same technical level in the same amount of time. Everybody learns differently. And so, like, if I have one person, and this even happens sometimes, I'm sure, you know, coaches see all the time, not just me at my gym, but like you might have someone that trains 4 or 5 days a week, comes in every single day. But maybe is, you know, maybe not putting in the most, you know, the best effort when he comes to class, he or she comes to class. But then you have somebody who maybe based on their schedule, their work schedule, family life, whatever it is only able to make it in twice a week. But maybe when that guy comes in those 2 days a week, you know, he's giving everything he's got. He might progress faster than the guy who's training 4 or 5 days a week because of the effort he's putting in that shorter amount of time, you know? So for sure, definitely it's about the effort you put in. Not necessarily always, I think, the time, but the effort you put in with the time that you have, you know?
And to finish up this lovely interview, what is going on at Refuge? What are you currently excited about? Tell us.
Well, I mean, we just moved into a new facility. We're just over 5,000 square feet. So there's still a lot we want to do around the gym, but we're excited for this year. We have a lot of tournaments we want to do. We've always been big supporters of the Arizona Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu League tournaments.
You guys are always there.
I personally think, you know, they're the best run tournaments, you know, and so like I said, I've been going to them since I was 10 years old, you know, so I've seen them from the beginning. I think they're run almost identical to the IBJJF tournaments. So anybody looking to compete at a high level, you know, or compete at the bigger events, like competing at the Arizona League tournaments is, you know, the test runs you can do to help you get ready for that. But yeah, I mean, as far as big things, you know, hopefully I hope to see more, you know, more growth in the programs, and, you know, hopefully just continue to see how much more we can expand. And you know, a big thing for me is just to see how many more lives we can impact through jiu-jitsu here, you know. And so we're kind of in a different area, and you know, I want people to see what we're doing here. I want to be able to work I just started working with a nonprofit and see how we can give back. You know, I think Jiu-Jitsu has given me so much, and now again it's time to give back, to help others, and sometimes I feel like I'm trying to do too much. I'm teaching all my classes, and I'm trying to train, you know, to compete at the high level, you know, compete at the adult black belt level, while also trying to prepare my students to compete at a high level, while trying to run a business and get new students to come in. It's a lot, but I love it. I love it, and I'm grateful that I get to do this every single day, because not everybody gets to wake up every day, right, and be like, I love what I do. And I wake up every morning, and I thank God that I get to do what I love. I can make a living doing what I love, but, you know, more importantly, like, I get to share my passion with people, and I get to see sometimes like the light get put in their life, or the light get put in their life from what we're doing here, you know? So.
Awesome. Where can people find out more about the school? Do you have social media?
Yeah. We have Instagram, Refuge_BJJ, Facebook, Refuge BJJ. We have a YouTube channel where we try and stay up to date and post technique videos or highlight videos, or people can find us on our website, www.refugebjj.com.
Awesome. Josh, this was awesome. You guys are great here, and it was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
You.